down the inside. Turn 1 we go. Oh, there is a bit of contact. I run wide. I don't get the corner done. That is Ross Gunn through. That is, John Edwards, Conde Filippi, everybody through. We are last in class. Hello guys and welcome, my name is Robin and this is the Sim Racing Time Machine, the channel where I recreate historic racing seasons in Automobilista 2. And once again I let you vote for which season you wanted to see next, and this time I gave you some more modern options and you have chosen the IMSA SportsCar Championship. Now we already did a season of that on this channel, but that was the 2024 season in which we competed in the GTD Pro class. This time, however, we are going to recreate the 2019 or a 2019-ish season of that North American Championship. And despite there only being 5 years between those seasons, still a lot of things have changed in IMSA since then. As it still is the case nowadays, there are 2 prototype classes and 2 GT classes. Nothing too special yet, I know, but the highest prototype class back then was not GTP with the same hypercars used in Le Mans. No, back then it was DPI, which stands for Daytona Prototype International, a rule set that only existed in and for IMSA. Now unfortunately we only have the Cadillac in that class in AMS2, as the Acura and Mazda that were also competing in there are not in the game, but still we have found a playmate in that class, as we will have 2 Ligier JSP2s in there still in old spec LMP2, which were able to compete with DPI until 2018, after which DPI and LMP2 were split up, so they're sort of filling in for the Nissan On-Road, which also competed against the Caddy, had a Ligier chassis, and the Tequila Patron ESM Racing team used them in 2018 to compete with the Cadillacs. In general, you will see a couple of non-2019 cars to fill the grid, but mainly this is the field as it was in 2019. The second class, of course, is LMP2, as already mentioned. Nothing really different back then, maybe except for Ligier still being an option for some teams, whereas nowadays you only see the Orica 07 in that class. And then there are the GT classes, and whereas nowadays there is only GT3, like it's the case pretty much everywhere in sports car racing, back in 2019 we still had the GTE cars being used, which is a step above GT3, and was mainly operated by actual proper works teams, and not only privateer customers. In IMSA, the GTE class was always called GTLM for GT Le Mans, so this is how we will refer to it here as well. In that class we have works entries from BMW with the iconic big boy, the M8, 2 Chevrolet Corvettes of course, 2 Porsches, and then also 2 Aston Martin Vantage GTEs. Now they actually never competed in IMSA, but Le Mans only, but this is where we come in. I will compete in this GTE class as one of the 2 fictional Heart of Racing Aston Martins, as myself really looking forward to taking the fight to these iconic GT cars that unfortunately are not in operation anymore. Then, last but not least, of course, the biggest class is the lowest class, which is GTD, standing for GT Daytona, the GT3 class of IMSA with privateer entries, which still exists today, but compared to our 2024 season, we will still see the older generation of GT3 cars in that class, with the old Porsche 911 GT3 RS, the BMW M6, or the non-Evo versions of the McLaren 720S GT3 or the Mercedes AMG GT3. Also in here are 2 Nissan Nismos for the 3GT Racing team, which competed in 2018, but with a Lexus. Yeah, if we're fictionalizing things already, we can also have that GT3 car in here as a replacement for the Lexus. The skin pack that I'm using in this championship is the IMSA DPI era pack by Tar Heel, available on overtake.gg, and as always you will find a link to that pack in the description down below. The season opener, as always in modern IMSA, is the 24-hour race at the Daytona Speedway road course, and as always with these long races, it will be split up into two different parts. The starting grid for our class is on your screen right now. We will go into this race from P5, but to be honest, in these long races, grid positions don't matter at all. We will do a 2.4-hour race with in-game time accelerated times 10, so we will still experience the full daylight cycle. And now, without further ado, let's go racing at Daytona. Well, and here we are, rolling towards the line to start this race at Daytona. It's a pretty cloudy day, and as in real life, rain is expected to start to fall during the night. But for now, we have a dry track as our teammate Ross Gunn down our inside moves ahead of us into turn 1. Turn 1 will be a really tricky one later on, but one of the best overtaking spots on this circuit. As there goes Oliver Gavin with the number 4 Corvette round our outside, down the inside of our teammate we go, but look at that, Oliver Gavin, what a move round the outside. Moves up to 4th, our teammate loses 2 positions in one corner. We pretty much stay where we are, but the car ahead is now a different one. Oliver Gavin, he was one of the long-standing Corvette works drivers. So we're trying to find a way around down his inside there. We already had him compete in the GT1 class with Corvette Racing in our Le Mans Endurance Series that we did just before this. Not the best of exits out on the oval once more, as we are under pressure from our teammate who's down our inside as we are approaching the Le Mans chicane for the very first time. Another brilliant overtaking spot, but also one where we might see a lot of trouble, as people and also the AI tend to get it wrong here very, very frequently. Down to 6th we go as Ross Gunn takes that position again. Then we just ran out of space here, as I thought we could make a move on him. This time our exit on to the oval is better though. We have the low line. He has the slipstream though, but this has changed now as the Porsche just ahead of us switched down. And again, this is where he made a move on lap 1. This time we can manage to keep him behind. And we can look ahead where the fight for the race lead is between the 2 Corvettes and the 2 Porsches. Past Oliver Gavin we go, as he didn't get a good exit out of the Le Mans chicane. And then trying to get some slipstream from Antonio Garcia. When we did our IMSA 2024 season, he was our main opponent in the GTD Pro class, ultimately taking the championship, whereas I failed to take it with Rexy down the inside. Turn 1 we go. Oh, there is a bit of contact. I run wide. I don't get the corner done. That is Ross Gunn through. That is, oh, John Edwards, Conde Filippi, everybody through. We are last in class, and from now it is a bit of a recovery as I completely get the braking wrong into turn 1. The BMW's not looking too quick at the moment. I think that was, yeah, a common theme throughout the M8 era or lifespan in the GTE class. Often struggling against the much more nimble Porsches, Corvettes, and also Aston Martins at Le Mans. As past Conor De Filippi we go. Nowadays, De Filippi is running in BMW's Hypercar program in IMSA. As the straight line speed of the BMW still is impressive. He went with us. No chance into the Le Mans chicane. Too far back. Not the greatest of exits there. From our teammate up ahead, who is also dropping down the order. And he might be to drop even further. But as soon as we leave the slipstream and go onto the high line, we don't gain on him anymore. As across the line we go, side by side into turn 1. Oh, keep it clean, guys. Please keep it clean. This is looking good, though. Round the outside. Oh, he's still there. What a fight. But we'll have the inside for the hairpin here. And then, finally, we're fully through. And back into P6. So a lot of battling in these early stages all across the GTLM class here, as down the inside of Edwards we go, and back into P5 where we were just ahead of our mishap a lap earlier. And from here on began one of the greatest battles for the leads that I ever had in Automobilista 2, and I'm just going to stay silent and let that battle speak for itself now. what did I tell you? What a battle that was so far, and it's still not over. But we get a good exit out on the oval. Fantor getting a bit held up there behind Gavin. Gavin defends the inside. We have a lot of space on the outside, and we take the lead for the very first time in this race. We are leading with our Aston Martin Vantage. But now we are the ones that are hunted, and that is giving a slipstream to everybody behind. This might be incredibly difficult into turn one, as look how they come flying in my mirrors, or the rear view camera actually. There is Tandy round our outside. No, sorry, I think it's Vantor. Oh, we are late on the brakes, but leave the door open on the inside, and there goes Lawrence Vantor. But we have the inside, we are late on the brakes, and we manage to defend our lead, do we? Yes, we do. So, we manage to hold on to it. And then, a lap later, same situation. In the infield, we are quite quick, and we can actually gain on them. But then as soon as we're out on the oval, they get a slipstream and a draft. They're coming back. And once more, it's a Porsche around our outside. Again, it's Vantor briefly taking the race lead. We have the inside. This time we do it differently. Oh, but he will have the inside for the hairpin, as some of the DPI cars are coming out of the pits from their first pit stops. Junkers and JDC Miller Motorsports, the lower DPI cars. But once more, we managed to defend our lead. This might be a bit helpful, because in the infield they're not gaining too much on the GTE cars. And I assume that it looks like they still have cold tires. Maybe we can get a bit of a slipstream out on the oval, and actually that worked. So we were building a gap from then, because we were breaking the toe, and now had a sort of healthy gap to the others. As in lap 15, it was the first time that we had to come in for our scheduled pit stop for fuel and tires. They can be changed simultaneously in this series, which is good. So we won't have to wait ages in the pits with the pit stops in that series. Just the painful 60 kph speed limit in the pit lane is something to worry about. And it's a super long pit exit as well. And one car stayed out actually. We dropped down to second in class. But I assume all the others went in. So here we stop. And now look in my mirror, top right there, or the rear view camera. There is one of the Porsches stopping now just behind us. So everybody except one car is in, and after over half a minute of pit stop time, it's time to go out on the racetrack again. And as I said, really long, painful pit exit. You have to go round the left-hander and then a bit of straight, and only then can you release the pit limiter. One lap later, we took the race lead back, as the one car that managed to get out or stay out a lap longer came in then. And now we have a double waved yellow approaching turn one as night has fallen. And oh, there is one of the GTD Porsches facing the wall on the inside. We go in there pretty much blindsided, as yeah, in general, this was now becoming an issue, as for the very first time we were coming up to lap some traffic. Now we're in the second lowest class, of course, so a couple of times we already have been lapped by the DPIs, or well, it's a couple of times, once, after our pit stop. And now we have to do the lapping ourselves. This is one of the Nissans. I think it was Jack Hawksworth. We got past there without an issue. But yeah, from now on, traffic with these 41 cars that are still competing here. One of the LMP2 cars has already retired. Yeah, yeah, that track is very, very busy. Not the longest of tracks for such a big and long event with so many cars. So this could be quite the issue throughout the race. As you can already see it here, we are lapping some GTD cars, and oh, look at that, Conor De Filippi, he must have had an issue. He is now going a lap down in GTLM, as things get a bit busy here on the oval. Let's just hope he doesn't do an ambitious dive bomb to get that lap back into turn 1. He doesn't. As the next couple of GTD cars are just ahead already. And I think we now had a comfortable lead, but still, lapping these guys was stressful, as we didn't have that much of a pace advantage over them. Of course, the GTE cars are quicker, but it's not by so much that it's just breezed by on the straight and sayonara. As we make contact with the Montaplast by Landaudy from Ricardo Feller there. Thought they'd see me and leave me by, and now things get even worse as we have one of the Tequila Patron DPI Ligiers trying to get by there as well. So yeah, you see the stress that this traffic is causing me. Even though I'm not battling anyone right now in my own class, it was still a fight to keep it all together. But for now we did, and luckily the night is not making everything dark here, as the track is illuminated pretty well. Second pit stop was also due during the night. Out the pits we come once more. Now you only see the exit, the one that I've been struggling with so far. And this is looking really well because we get a bit of nice and clear road ahead of us, with nobody getting in our way, which can't be said about this, because here we are slowly catching up to someone. And do you see that? There is a bit of rain falling now. I think the rain is starting right now with 85 minutes to go in this race. And this is where we pause and stop our first part of the 24 Hours of Daytona 2019. Next week there will be the second part, and I can already tell you it is going to be quite the wet part. So we're in the lead, but things could change pretty quickly with the conditions changing quite dramatically in the night. So subscribe to not miss how this race will end, which you will see next week. Leave a like if you did enjoy part 1, and I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.